Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Greg Furman, market analyst here at TraderPlanet.com, and these are the market positions for July the 7th, 2011. Now our first position for tonight is going to be in the foreign exchange market, specifically the US-Canadian pair. What we can see here, the Vantage Point predicted short-term difference is breaking from heavily oversold territory back towards the zero line. This is a very good leading indicator that we're becoming oversold at these levels on the US-Canadian pair, and we're going to use this short-term reversal, maybe medium-term, where it's hard to say yet, but we're going to use the upward momentum to get into a long position. Now, what we want to do here is identify the key areas: 9709, 9669, and 9637 with a close of 9654. Now, looking at this, what we want to do here, we can see that with the predicted short-term difference breaking higher like that, we're going to go now and look at the short-term crossover from Vantage Point. Now, usually what will happen is you can see the short-term predicted difference is breaking higher. The short-term crossover is following it. This is telling us that in the immediate term, it's after we have a slight pullback, it's going to break higher. We want to use this to our advantage for an intraday trade and get in on a long. Now, what I want to do here now is fine-tune that entry point to an area in which I think the market is going to pull back to and then enter into a long. So for tomorrow, we can see the neural index is up. That's positive for a long trade. 9606 is the predicted low. 9683 is the predicted high. We're going to use that area to get into a long position. We're going to have our stop down around the 94.90 area. We do not want our stop on a round number. So again, we're going to have it right around that 94.90, 94.85 area is a reasonable stop. Your short-term intraday traders, 96.83 will be your top side target. Your medium and longer term traders, I would look for the 98 level in the days and weeks ahead. Very likely. Now, these currencies tend to range trade. The bottom of that range is probably going to be around 95, 95.50. The upper part of that range, we know where it is. It's around the 99 level. So that's the ultimate target, is back towards that 99 level. And again, I think this is a reasonable position, respecting the fact that crude oil continues to fail and the global demand for oil does not appear to be there in the current environment. So you can see how I'm using that correlation to help in my decision with the long US-Canadian trade. Now, that's our first position for tonight. Our second position is going to be in the iShares COMEX Gold Trust. Again, today we were looking at the Gold Corp stock. You can see how I'm using alternative vehicles to get into long gold trades without exposing myself directly to the gold futures market, because it's still very shaky in there. So the IAU, very low cost ETF for me to get into, slower moving, but there's some good opportunity I think here. You can see the predicted MACD and the predicted true strength indicator from Vantage Point getting ready to cross the trigger to the upside. The predicted short, medium, and long-term differences all pointing up. The predicted short and medium term already breaking above that zero line. We can identify that we've closed at 1493, the key support levels, 1483, 1481, and 1485. So our major support line is very close by, which I also like. Now, going into now we do want to check these predicted crossovers here, so we're going to go in and look at the short-term crossover, which we can see on the IAU is breaking higher. The medium-term crossover from Vantage Point is just crossing that trigger, which also looks very good. Now, looking at the long-term crossover, it hasn't completed that crossover, so that is a bit of a concern. But again, if we're looking at the Vantage Point predicted high and the high-low break, you can see how I've brought this up, and we have the predicted, the red line is the predicted high, the black line is the predicted low. You can see here that we've broke above the Vantage Point predicted high 2 days in a row. Very, very bullish. So with that said, we can go in now to our daily report and help fine-tune this entry point for an entry point for an intraday trade and potentially longer. So for tomorrow we have 1488 and 1505. That is your range for your intraday positions. Your medium and longer term traders, they should be looking at 1550, potentially 1580, somewhere up in that area. That's a good move on a low cost ETF like this, and getting into the gold market without exposing yourself directly to those very volatile gold futures. And again, the Gold Corp stock, also a very good another very good alternative to that for people out there that don't have the ability or the means to do contracts for differences, the CFDs. So with that said, those are the market positions for July the 7th, 2011. And again, my name is Greg Furman, market analyst here at TraderPlanet.com.